The priority in any survival situation has always been protection, location, water, and food. Should you find yourself in a slide raft or life raft, it is imperative you get clear of the wreckage and take steps to protect yourself from the elements as soon as possible. Separate the securing line and get clear of the aircraft. Aviation fuel floating on the surface of the water is corrosive to the raft material, and you risk puncturing the raft from charred pieces of metal. It is important to stream the raft by deploying the sea anchor. It will stop the raft capsizing in heavy seas and limit the distance the raft will drift. Close the canopy to aid protection. Delegate a survivor to maintain a lookout for others in the water and to warn of dangers. With the canopy closed, carbon monoxide will build up in the raft. It is essential that you allow fresh air in approximately every 30 minutes. Do this by opening the entrance effraction for a couple of minutes. Once these immediate initial actions have been taken care of, you can concentrate on raft maintenance, keeping yourself alive, and preparing for the rescue. As soon as possible, position and activate your emergency locator transmitter, as this is your prime location aid. The emergency locator transmitter will narrow the rescuer's search area to within 5 square kilometers and lessen your time waiting to be rescued. Let's now have a look at the contents of the survival pack and how best to utilize the resources you have at your disposal, looking firstly at the items which will aid protection. The importance of having a good understanding of the equipment and their uses within the survival pack cannot be underestimated. Other survivors will be looking to you for leadership and knowledge. Any signs of uncertainty will immediately instill a lack of confidence and panic in the raft. It is at this point when people have a moment to consider the horrible situation they are in and have time to dwell on what has just happened to them that real panic and fear can set in. You must now take control and demonstrate that you are capable. Inside the survival pack, you will find a list of its contents. Use this to refresh yourself of what you have available. There is also a first aid kit and a booklet for you or others to refer to. Issue seasickness tablets as soon as possible. Life rafts and slide rafts are not built for comfort, and choppy sea conditions will soon take its toll. Vomiting induces dehydration and much unpleasantness in the raft. They will take approximately 20 minutes to work. The raft will undoubtedly have pooled water in it. Use the cup bailer, the sponge, and any other receptacle available to dump the water overboard. Make your environment as comfortable as possible. Rips and tears in the raft material can be repaired by using the repair clamps and leak stoppers. Leak stoppers come in 3 sizes and can be used to repair holes in the raft floor. Repair clamps can be used to repair tears in the raft buoyancy material to effect a secure fit when it is topped up with air. To use the clamp effectively, dip the rubber end into some water, which will make it easier to insert into the tear. Place it through the tear into the underside of the material. Bring the lid down to meet its base and secure using the wing nut. Secure tightly to effect a proper repair when the raft material is reinflated. Finally, snap off the handle to ensure that it doesn't inadvertently tear any portion of the raft. The hand pump can be inserted into one of the inflation points and used to top up the buoyancy chambers or inflate masts and deck floats as required. Again, this is an ideal task to delegate. Use the paddle to assist in maneuvering the raft away from the aircraft or to get closer to other rafts. Multiple rafts should be tied together approximately 10 to 15 meters apart, therefore increasing your chances of being seen by the rescue services. Insect repellent is also available for protection. This is more likely to be required in land-based survival situations, primarily jungle conditions. We are now going to look at the items in the survival pack that will aid location. Unlike the emergency locator transmitter, all of these items will require the rescuers being in the vicinity for them to be of any use. Firstly, a standard compass. This could be useful if necessary to give a directional account of your or other raft positions. In addition to any torches taken from the aircraft, there is also one in the pack. This is a standard battery-operated torch. The other, which you may come across, is a saline-operated torch. To operate this, remove the cap from its base and fill the compartment with seawater. Once the compartment is filled and the torch has operated, pour the seawater out and replace the cap. When the light starts to dim, repeat the process. The heliograph, or signaling mirror, has historically alerted the attention of many passing rescuers. The heliograph is an excellent location aid and can be seen by aircraft 50 miles away at 25,000 feet. However, there is a technique in using it properly. Hitting a moving target with your beam of light is not as straightforward as you might think. There are many ways to operate the heliograph. One of the most effective is to place the cord around your neck, position it on your shoulder. With your arm extended, extend 2 fingers and shine the beam of light so you can see it on the tips of your 2 fingers. This effectively is your gun sight that you can follow your moving target and assuredly hit it. Even if you do not have a heliograph, improvise with any reflective material. For example, a bank card. The rescue services are happy to accept most leading credit cards. This is sea dye. Inside is a chemical that can be used to dye the sea around you a bright green color. It can be seen from a great distance and will disperse in approximately 3 hours, quicker in rougher seas. To use it properly, rip open the packet and empty the sachet into the seawater. As you can see, it works almost immediately and is a very effective location aid. It is corrosive to the raft material, so do not let it come into contact with it. Therefore, do not tie it to the raft. It is equally useful in land survival situations and can be used to dye the ground or snow around you. There are 2 types of flares that may be available to you: the mini flare and the day-night flare. As you're handling pyrotechnics, care should be taken. At the earliest opportunity, refresh yourself on their operating instructions. Waiting until you see a passing aircraft to do this will be too late. Keep the flares in a dry, secure location that you can access quickly. This is not a delegation task. You alone should look after and fire the flares. If you have hand protection available, wear gloves. Fire the flares clear of the canopy and downwind away from other rafts. Hold them at arm's length at approximately 45 degrees. The day end of the day-night flare can be identified by the smooth cap at its end. To fire, remove the cap, hold at arm's length, extend the ring pull, twist and pull to fire the flare. The day flare will give off orange smoke, which can be seen up to 8 miles. It will burn for approximately 20 seconds. Firing the day flare when a rescue helicopter is in sight can be useful for the rescue services, giving them a visual indication of wind speed and direction. After firing the flare, it will be hot. Dip the fired end of the flare into the water to cool. Discard into the water if both ends have been fired. The night end of the day-night flare can be identified by the cap's rough edge. As the saying goes, smooth days, rough nights. Once again, remove the cap, hold at arm's length, extend the ring pull, twist and pull to fire the flare. The night flare will emit a bright flame which can be seen up to 28 miles, and it will burn for approximately 20 seconds. Do not stare directly into the flame, as it is extremely bright and in dark conditions will leave you temporarily blinded. The mini flare, or as it is sometimes referred, pen flare, is found on certain survival packs. This device uses a .22 caliber cartridge and a pen-like pistol. To fire, remove the pistol and screw into one of the available cartridges. Pull the cartridge out, hold the flare at arm's length, pull back on the spring-loaded firing pin, and release to fire. The flare will reach a height of approximately 100 meters, forming a bright orange ball. Incidentally, if you witness a rescue boat firing flares, it's an indication that they are still looking for you, not that they have found you. Store matches are also found in the survival packs and are obviously not recommended for most raft conditions, but are excellent fire providers in land survival situations. They are wind resistant and will remain burning even when immersed in water. Water is our next priority. However, this should not be an immediate concern. All survivors will have been adequately hydrated before evacuating the aircraft. This will easily sustain them for 24 hours, which is when the first rations should be issued. Exceptions to this would be those who have lost large amounts of body fluids. The Survival Pack's water rations come in various sizes and shapes and should be stowed carefully. The issuing of rations should be controlled by a crew member. The recommendations are 1/2 liter per person per day. Survival without water can vary between 3 and 11 days, depending on the conditions. Should fresh water present itself in the form of rain, dew, or condensation on the canopy, this can be purified using the tablets available. There is also a cup available to drink from. It is well known that providing water is available, you can survive weeks without food, so it's last on our list of priorities. Food requires water to aid digestion. Therefore, the emergency rations should not be issued unless you have sufficient water, and once again, not issued for 24 hours. There's plastic spoons available to eat with. Boiled sweets, however, are a good source of carbohydrates which require less water from the body to digest and can be issued even if water is scarce. In any survival situation, using your environment and the resources you have available is essential. We have looked at the basic contents of the survival packs you are likely to have on your aircraft or at your disposal. It is important to guard against complacency, especially when the rescuers are in sight. Many lives have been lost through mistakes made in the last moments of rescue. Remember, you are not a survivor until you've been rescued.